From the land of lakes, this is 10,000 Takes. Brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another week. We are ecstatic. You've tuned us in. 10K Takes on television. Mm-hmm. And it seems like every week when we do this show, we never lack for topics.
No.
But now the topics on our plate are sky high.
Well,
I mean, my goodness.
Wolves, Wild,
and Frost, Lynx, Twins.
The Lynx are just getting started.
Well, this weekend.
Come on, man. Can we at least put the Wild and the Avs ahead of all that?
Well, I think we can.
Okay.
But the Frost would disagree. They're chasing a three-peat.
Yes, they are. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's start with the Wild and the Avs. Is this going to be a problem for them to advance beyond this? I mean, have they reached the pinnacle because they actually won a series for the first time since 2015? The first time in, 11 tries or 10 tries, whatever it's been, getting out of the first round? I don't know, man. They certainly have the offensive firepower. They'll need their goalie tandem to stop some pucks.
No doubt, Colorado, clearly in the regular season, was the top team in the NHL. Their goalie, Scott Wedgwood, had the top goals against average, although he gave up 6 goals to Minnesota in Game 1, so he can be beaten. Certainly with Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon.
Thin air, man. That's what
elevation 5280.
Yep, thin air.
Hockey with an altitude. I just think this, at the time of this recording, is one game in the books. Don't get in a shootout with the Colorado Avalanche. The Minnesota Wild cannot win that kind of game, as we saw in Game 1. The other thing is, Kirill Kaprizov's got to come off the milk carton. Where's he been this postseason? Not a lot of production against Dallas and not much early against the Avalanche. That's a huge key.
Is he overrated?
I'm not going to go there, but they may have given him too many years on the contract. You know my stance on long-term, multi-year deals. I would only go 4 or 5. I don't care who we're talking about. They pushed him out for, 8?
Yeah.
It's another Zach Parise, Ryan Suter type deal.
It is, but I think he's more of a difference maker than those.
I would agree.
Two were. Let me ask you this, though, and I do agree with you that these teams have managed to neutralize him, but I think that that's what they've done. They physically attacked Kirill Kaprizov, and they have neutralized him, thus doing so, keeping him off the scoreboard for the most part. Now, he had a couple of goals in that first series and against Dallas, and he'll get going against the Avs. I'm relatively sure of that. But, because you can't keep him down forever. He's just too good. But I think that the strategies of these teams coming in, Dallas for sure. I mean, I watched a couple of those games against the Stars, and man, they were just roughing him up. They were willing to take penalties against him just to keep him out of the mix.
And the strategy worked to some degree for Dallas. They didn't win the series, but they kept him off the scoring sheet for the most part. Yeah, play physical and make him work on every shift. But other guys have stepped up. Quinn Hughes, as they say, is all that in a bag of chips, right? I mean, the Minnesota Wild have to find a way to keep him in Minnesota. If he leaves here, because they gave up a lot to Vancouver, this guy's gifted. I mean, he's an incredible assist machine. He can bring the puck up the ice from the defensive side, and he can score. Yep. So Quinn Hughes has been great. I think Matt Boldy is truly becoming an elite hockey player. Joel Eriksson. But is the goaltending going to get better against the Avalanche? Certainly Jesper Wallstedt, the Wall of St. Paul, as they call him. Well, he was no wall against Colorado in Game 1. Philip Gustafsson got the start in Game 2. What do we say in the playoffs?
Goaltending.
Thank you.
I mean, if the goalies stand on their heads, you're going to advance. That's how if you get goaltending in the playoffs, that's what it comes down to. And it, just to make the point, reinforce that point, that 15 goals that was scored, that's only been like the, 10th time in NHL history.
Playoff history.
That's what I meant. Yeah, playoff history. That 15 goals have come up in a playoff game. So I'd say that you're right. I think that, they're going to need Philip Gustafsson and or Wallstedt to get back on track.
I truly believe the Wild are not in this "we're just happy to be in round 2" moment.
I hope not.
I think they feel like they can beat Colorado. The games in St. Paul will be Saturday night and Monday night. So, and hey, good news for Craig Leopold. 2 more dates minimum. 2 more gates where he can cash in, put money in his pocket, and maybe they get a game 6.
I wonder if anybody will buy any souvenirs.
Oh, boy. That hockey lodge, they'll probably jack those prices up. I saw, not to get way off track, but at Target Field the other day, I saw the City Connect, those Twins blue and gold caps, $75.
You got to be kidding.
I don't know if I'd take it if it was given to me.
That the fishing outfit?
Yeah.
Oh, brother. Okay. Oh, boy. Quickly, because you did mention the Minnesota Frost at the outset of this segment. They are going, as you said, for a three-peat. They get off to a good start against Montreal. And they're not throwing any of these back. I know there's only, 8 teams in the league. There were only 6 coming into this year. But the Frost won the first 2. Give them credit, man. If they manage to get back to the finals and win it again, nobody's blaming, any of the original 6 in the NHL for winning those Stanley Cups. I don't think that anybody's going to blame the Frost for winning them just because there's 6 or 8 teams in the league.
No, I mean, they're one of the charter teams. They're one of the original 6 in the PWHL. As you said, up to 8. I expect within 5 years they'll probably have 20 teams in the PWHL. I think there's probably a market for it. Places like Denver, maybe Los Angeles, certainly other cities in Canada. They get Kelly Panic. They have some very great, talented players. And if they get a three-peat, they'll put up another banner at Grand Casino Arena. They've already got 2. We've seen them.
Yes, they will. All right. We're going to talk some Timberwolves coming up next with the original Timberwolf, Pooh Richardson, joining us.
Pooh spelled backwards is hoop. We are 10K Takes, your Frost ticket.
Life moves fast, but when that Freddy's hits, you can't help but slow down. Freddy's, this is the good stuff. Freddy's new Hot Honey menu is love at first trip. It'll leave you burning for more.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Let your adventure begin in Lakeville, Minnesota. We have over 90 places to grab a bite to eat, and we're close to the Mall of America, Valley Fair, and the Minnesota Zoo, plus hotel packages and great rates. Visit Lakeville. We're serious about fun all year round.
We are Minnesota Scores 10,000 Takes, and we are happy to be talking playoff hockey and playoff basketball. Of course, the Minnesota Timberwolves dispatched of the Denver Nuggets in the first round, now in the midst of this series with the San Antonio Spurs in round 2. And joining us now to talk about round 2 and the Minnesota Timberwolves against the San Antonio Spurs is Pooh Richardson. Pooh, as you look at this squad, the Minnesota Timberwolves, how they are constructed, can they make a run not only to the Western Conference Finals, can they get to the finals this year? Is this team constructed well enough, assuming they stay injury-free the rest of the way, to get to the finals?
Yeah, I think so. My prediction earlier, and I had a couple conversations with a few people, I predicted them to go to the Western Conference Finals. Now looking at the team with the length they have, the defense on the defensive end playing so well, anything is possible. And I think right now, even though it's game 1, but you still have, a large task in front of you. But I think they can do it.
All right, Pooh, Victor Wembanyama, the Eiffel Tower, Wemby. He's a unicorn. I mean, he's a freak. I don't know if we've seen anybody like this in the NBA. And in game 1, he had a playoff record 12 blocks. But Timberwolves coach Chris Finch thought at least 3 or 4 of those should have been goaltending calls, costing Minnesota 6 to 8 points. And it was a very tight game. Do you think now that he's put that out there in the universe, the officials might be checking those blocks a little closer, or is Wemby too much of a star and he's going to get his way when it comes to the close call?
Well, 100%. I don't know if it's that blatant, but I think that they're not gonna call those block shots because even though having 12 blocks, 14 blocks, 15 blocks, um, we all like to watch games and look at history, and history is being made. If this guy get 15 or 20 blocks in a game, I'm sure that's what he's going after. In my day, we played against a guy named Keem Olajuwon. We used to complain about him traveling with his footwork, and a lot of times, they just don't call it. When you develop an identity and that's who you are, normally the referees will roll with it. So I don't think that. I think they have their eye on it, but I don't think they'll call it.
I'll say this. If he has more blocks than points going out throughout this series, the Timberwolves are going to be in good shape. Those are good numbers to have, more points or more blocks than points. Eric mentioned Chris Finch. And I have a feeling that Chris Finch has really stepped up, particularly in this series. Losing DiVincenzo, losing Ant for those last few games against Denver. Give me your thoughts on Chris Finch and the job he has done with the Timberwolves this year.
Well, I think he's done a tremendous job. But when you have injuries, sometimes you can add by subtraction. Not having DiVincenzo, then losing Ant, different lineups you can actually employ, and it probably gave him a better chance, a better sense of what those other guys can do under fire. You have guys that practice every day and do well and play well against your first or second unit, but you don't know what they're really going to be like when the game actually happens under the lights. And I think a few guys has proven that they can step up to the challenge, and I just think that he's doing a really marvelous job of orchestrating that and putting guys in areas and situations to be successful.
Who are down to the Elite Eight in the NBA. Of the remaining 8 teams, only one has never been to the NBA Finals. That's your old club, the Minnesota Timberwolves. If that happens, when that happens, what's going to happen in the Twin Cities? Because you were here in the beginning when they played at the Metrodome. They set an NBA attendance record for a single season. This place is going to go bananas, isn't it?
Of course, it's gonna. It's already bananas with the success that the guy's been having. It's already bananas. But I just think that it's just another level in the evolution of the organization. Sometimes when you're new, just the fact of the newness and the excitement that follows behind that, uh, you can't take that lightning and put it in the bottle. Just like it's going to be a different kind of excitement if the guys can get to the championship, let alone win one, but just to get there or to be as close as they are, because they really look sharp. They look sharp. They look aggressive. They look confident. Extremely a long team and aggressive. I just love everything about them.
Aside from, let's say, a healthy Anthony Edwards, give me a player that you think has to be a difference maker throughout this series. Who is that one guy? You're saying, you're looking at the roster, you're saying we need this guy to step up day in and day out.
Jaden Daniels. I just think because I think he's known for his defensive prowess, and when you can turn that into offensive production, and he don't take bad shots. He's a very smart player. He play under control. He does what he do well. It reminds me a lot of Williams, was for Oklahoma City, OKC. Sometimes, the defensive guys are really good offensively, but they're not asked to give you offensive production. And when they are, people are surprised. And when they're surprised, it becomes an added dimension to what you do in your lineup. So it gives you great flexibility. And no guy can defend and score. Normally that was the norm. You couldn't play unless you defended. Nowadays, you consider it a two-way. When I thought that you had to play defense anyway.
You did under Bill Musselman, I know that much. You didn't
Oh,
play
that's
defense,
for
you
sure.
were not going to play, right? Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, rumor has it is part of the game. Tell us about opportunity. You've had the injury to Ant. Now he's back. Dante's out. Io's been in and out of the lineup. So a guy like TJ Shannon seems like he's pouncing on his chances. What do you like about this young guard out of Illinois?
Well, I just think that he has the typical, what they say, the freshman syndrome. When you don't know any better, you just go out there and do what you do best, and you just play hard. And like you're not supposed to go in there and try to dunk on Wemby. Well, I don't know. I don't know the difference. So he just playing with uh, in a good way, reckless abandon. He's not playing recklessly, but he's playing with reckless abandon. And that allows him to really put forth the best effort he can give you. I just think that with him stepping up and then the consistency and the professionalism of Mike Conley, I'm telling you right now, in playoff situations, just having him on the team, on the bench, around, and being in that T-Wolves uniform, I think it gives the guys a sense of calm.
What part of the game do you think the Timberwolves need to excel at throughout? Are we talking, do they need to be able to, obviously you'd love to be able to shoot threes well, make your free throws, play great defense, don't turn the ball over. I mean, all that stuff. What do you think is the most important in this series against the Spurs?
Well, to me, I think you have to contain the perimeter. I think if you could kind of keep De'Aaron Fox, because I think he's a key piece for what they do. If you could keep a guy like De'Aaron Fox under control, I think that the Wolves will be in good shape. Wembyana going to do what he does, and I don't know if there's too much you can do with him, as far as because he's just so different as a player. But I think if you can just control the perimeter and keep them limited from dribble drives, penetrations.
Pooh, you're now a basketball coach out there in Palm Desert, California. Tell us about coaching, and also, do you ever get clouds out there in the Palm Springs area? It looks like a postcard day, as it always is.
Yeah, sometimes you get clouds, and when you do, the people here act like it's a rainstorm or something. But yeah, well, with coaching, it's nowadays it's a little different because it's not about the technical stuff anymore. It's about management, managing the guys, because young kids are so good nowadays. They're a little different because they've been getting personal training since about 5-6 years old, and they know more than most when you're in 9th grade or 10th grade or 11th grade. You kind of think more like maybe a senior or junior in college. So now, with the perspective that they have and the outlook they have on the game, so it's never about technical stuff. Now it's about managing and getting through and getting your message through the players. And sometimes you have to use different ways to do that. It's about management, and I think that in the case of the Wolves, I think Chris Finch is doing a great job with that.
Yeah. Well, Pooh, great perspective. We appreciate you spending some time with us today. Hopefully we hook up with you again as the season rolls along, and maybe we'll talk to you hopefully into June.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Anytime, man. Just pick up the phone, let me know, and I'm here, man. I'll take time from my pickleball for you guys.
Oh, boy. I feel really special now, so
You've interrupted pickleball.
Get out to that pickleball court. Doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime soon.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, man. Love you guys.
All right, take care.
He is Pooh Richardson, the original Minnesota Timberwolf, their #1 overall choice back in the day. Back with more here on 10,000 Takes after this. Stay with us.
Get in the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, whether placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them?
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision. It's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Minnesota scores 10,000 takes, rolling along. Your Minnesota Twins have had a not great start to May and a not great ending to April in Washington this week. And then this weekend, they go to play Cleveland. And you jokingly said to me, well, if they sweep Cleveland, they might find themselves in first place, which is, there is some truth to that. But, man, I tell you, that bullpen of theirs, the arson squad, I mean, they come in and throw gas on the fire. That 8 runs they gave up on Saturday was just an abomination. I mean, this literally is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I was at that game, and even for the Twins, beleaguered bullpen, it was hard to believe. Now, the next day, just to be fair, when Joe Ryan goes out after throwing 9 pitches in inning number 1, that bullpen got 26 outs and recorded a victory over the AL champion Blue Jays. I never thought that would happen, less than 24 hours later after that implosion. But look, the Twins, because of their division, and now Tarek Skubal's out for Detroit.
I see that.
Your team, Cleveland, clips coupons, just like Minnesota. They don't spend money. Detroit might try to make a move. Kansas City's kind of in the middle, and the Chicago White Sox, who are much better, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
If the Twins went out and got a couple arms for that bullpen, they could contend legitimately in the AL Central. Right now, they're very much in the race.
In last place, and they're in the race.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't there Friday night. I'm wondering how these $2 beer thing is going out there.
Well, with those, there was a Canadian coup d'etat. A lot of Toronto Blue Jay fans flocking to the Minnesota.
The Molson Gold was flowing.
The Molson, the Labatt's. I'm sure they were partaking in it. And but you know what? The poll ads ought to send a check to Canada. I mean, they bumped that crowd up Saturday to 30,000. There had to be 15,000 Blue Jay fans at Target Field. I'm not kidding. And they were wandering around. They're the nicest people on earth, and wearing their Jays stuff, some Expo stuff. It's kind of fun.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. And I see the Twins now, and this is kind of a commercial for them. I see that they cut their Twins.tv thing in half. So you can get it for $49 to watch the rest of the season right now, if you want to stream the Twins, which is a good deal.
It is. Say what you want about the Twins, bang on ownership.
No, they're trying right now.
They are, and if you want to actually go to the ballpark, tickets are cheap on the secondary market. If you're a student, any Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday game, you're in for $5.
Well, this is
you won't pay a lot to get in.
All right, the Twins have got to start paying.
But it's the stuff inside that they want you to buy.
I know. Yeah, well, of course, like a beer or a popcorn.
Yeah, cheese curds for like $10.
Oh, that's cheap. All right,
wait till the cheeseheads get here a week from this weekend. They'll double the price.
Yes, they will. All right, takes of the day coming up next. Stay with us. We are 10,000 Takes.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Get in the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, whether placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
Wally and Eric from 10,000 Takes here in the land of lakes. And if you want sports of all sorts, check us out. We cover all the bases, all the teams in the great state of Minnesota.
Vikings, Twins, Wild, Gophers, Timberwolves, Loons, you name it, we do it. Late night Saturday night on Fox 9 Plus and on the Fox local app.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
10K Takes on television as we wrap up yet another episode. That means takes of the day, and the folks watching in Med City, the Twin Ports, the Twin Cities, they want to know what your mood is. Angry, cranky, happy? What is it this week?
Well, I was looking at the success of head coaches across the major four sports here in Minnesota since 1992, of course, 91 being Tom Kelly and the Minnesota Twins. So let's take it from there. There have been 31 head coaches across the four, 6 for the Vikings, 5 managers for the Twins, 7 for the Minnesota Wild, and the Timberwolves lead the pack with 13. However, I think it's fair to say, that number 13 has been perhaps, and maybe definitely, the most successful of all these coaches, at minimum in the postseason, if not the regular season. Yes, Chris Finch. And I give the guy a lot of credit. I talked a little bit earlier to Pooh Richardson about what Chris Finch has been able to do this season as guys have come in and out of the lineup. Lost Anthony Edwards for a fair amount of the season. Lost Jaden McDaniels down the stretch of the regular season. Lost Dante DiVincenzo during the playoffs. Lost Anthony Edwards again during the playoffs. And yet still manages to put a lineup out there and give credit to the players. Every coach will tell you it's not about the Jimmies and the Joe or the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. And in this case, the Jimmies and the Joes, i.e. Shannon Jr. and company, guys coming off the bench, Bones, all these guys who have played well and have gotten an opportunity, has made Chris Finch look like a genius. And I'd say that he has been the epitome of success for Minnesota coaches since 1992.
All right, and that mood meter says, wow, breaking news. Happy camper. And I would add, I think he's coaching circles around these younger guys. David Adelman in Denver and Mitch Reynolds, I believe it is, in San Antonio. They're a lot younger than Chris Finch. All right, well, my take of the day, look at what's coming up in the next few days here in the sports-saturated Twin Cities. The Minnesota Frost will have a playoff game in St. Paul on Thursday. They may have one on Friday. Also on Friday, the Timberwolves play the Spurs. That'll be Game 3. Then we go to Saturday. Minnesota Wild have a home game at Grand Casino Arena. That'll be a Game 3 against Colorado. Hey, your Minnesota Lynx are going to tip it off across the river at Target Center. Then on Sunday, don't forget about the pitch. Minnesota United in action against Austin FC. Timberwolves will have a Sunday night NBA game. And Monday, the Wild will have a playoff game. And if you want to stretch it into next week, the Miami Marlins come to town to face the Minnesota Twins in your favorite event, interleague play.
Oh, boy.
And on that note, we're going to go. Thanks so much for tuning us in. This is 10K Takes, your sports ticket.